Hello there YouTube, back with another video. This time it's a deck profile again, but not one of mine, it's Joey's.
Hello.
Joey's has been working on his blows for quite a bit.
2 years.
And this is probably the best build he's had. It's nowhere near as bricky as most Blue Eyes decks you see, and works really damn well.
Yeah.
Without further ado, Joey, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm very proud of this build of Blue Eyes, and I do believe it's one of the better builds. So, without further ado, let's go straight into it. Because you're playing Blue Eyes deck, you need your 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. If you're not playing 3 of them, you got something wrong in your head, because it's Blue Eyes, you need 3. Along with that, you need your 3 Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragons. This card is pretty damn amazing. You can summon it to your field by revealing a Blue Eyes White Dragon that's in your hand and just summoning it like that. It also has an effect that once per turn, if your opponent has a monster, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it, and he can't attack that turn. That's very handy for getting over stuff that comes from a battle or they've got too high attack. It's a very useful card and opens up a lot of plays. It's essentially one of the main cards of the deck. Also, his other effect that he has is very essential to some of the combos I have, and that is that his name becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while it's on the field and in the grave, and I'll get to some combos with that later. Next up, for the dragons, you have 1 Dragon Spirit of White and 1 Archbrave Dragon. These 2 cards, essentially, I use them as back row removal. Dragon Spirit of White, when he's normal or special summoned, you can target 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls and banish it. It's very handy. That effect is not once per turn, so if you get him on the field, get him off and summon him back, you just keep banishing and banishing spells and traps, which is very handy to get past. Also, if anything would happen to threaten this card, you can tribute it from your field and special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, so long as your opponent controls a monster when you do that. So it's rather handy to get a bigger monster on your field, get him in the grave so you can probably summon him back later on to get rid of more back row. Another useful card, another thing I forgot to mention, Dragon Spirit of White is a normal monster while on the field, while in the grave and in the hand, so it's very handy to get to, especially using cards like Dragon trying to send him and then another card as well. It's very handy. On to Archbrave. Archbrave is definitely one of my favourite looking cards in the deck. Very useful card. His effect is that during the standby phase of the turn after he was sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 level 7 or 8 dragon type monster in your grave and just special summon it for free, which is absolutely fantastic. I love using him if I'm going first, it helps me out a lot. His other effect is very useful getting past back row as well. When he is special summoned from the graveyard, you can banish all face-up spells and traps your opponent controls, which is very handy against decks nowadays, which pretty much all decks have field spells. You can just get rid of those. And when you do that, he gains 200 attack and defense for each card you banish with that, which is very handy. Also, he's a level 7, which if you combine him with one of the tuners in the deck, you can just make a Cyframe Lord Omega, which is also another really good card in the deck. That's it for the dragons. Next up onto the tuners. Playing 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue, definitely one of the best cards in the deck as well. His effect states that whenever he is normal summoned, you can search your deck for a level 1 light tuner, which is absolutely phenomenal. You can just search whatever you want from your deck, as long as it's level 1 light tuner. That opens up a lot of stuff. Other effect is that once per turn, you can target effect monster you control, send this card from your hand to the grave, and send that monster you targeted to the graveyard, and summon any Blue Eyes monster from your deck. This combo works really well with the 1 Maiden that I play, because if you summon Maiden, you can activate Sage's effect from your hand targeting Maiden, which will then trigger Maiden's effect, that if she's targeted by a card effect, special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck or graveyard, which essentially with these 2 cards gives you 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons essentially for free, and can open up plays for a Twin Burst or an Xyz, or just straight out just attack your opponent to kill them. Maiden is also really good because she's very defensive, because if she's ever targeted for an attack, you change your battle position, negate the attack, and summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, deck or grave. Very useful card to get in stuff on the field.
I suppose you didn't use 1 for 1.
Yeah, if I had one I would.
Unusual.
And next up, you've got your stones, 3 White Stone of Ancients and 1 White Stone of Legend. White Stone of Legend is just good. It's a tuner. It works well as it is. It's a card's constant target, and when it's sent to the graveyard, you get a Blue Eyes from your deck to your hand, which is very handy. White Stone of Ancients, on the other hand, is very damn good. Very good for going first and making a good strong field. During the end phase, if it was sent to the graveyard that turn, special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck, which is really damn good for the deck. That special summon effect is not once per turn, so if you get 2 stones in the grave in one turn, end phase, summon 2 Blue Eyes monsters from your deck, and it's very damn good. Also, its first secondary effect is also very good as well. If it's in the grave, you can banish it from the grave, except the turn it was sent there, and target 1 Blue Eyes monster in your grave and add it to your hand. That works really well if you've got an alternative White Dragon in your hand and a Blue Eyes in the grave, which you can't get back. Just banish this card from your grave, get that Blue Eyes to your hand, and then you can summon that alternative. And it makes the deck run very smoothly. That's it for the stones, and then next for the one-of monsters, you're running 1 Honest, 1 Master with Eyes of Blue, and 1 Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is very good for defensive stuff, disrupting your opponent's plays, and I'm only really running this because you can search it with Sage, because Sage searches level 1 like tuners, and that's exactly what Effect Veiler is. Just a good old hand trap, nothing else needs to be said about that. Master of Eyes Blue is also a really good recycler card. When he's normal summoned, you can target 1 level 1 light tuner in your grave, add it to your hand. So it can make it, you can use your Effect Veiler again if you've already used it, get a stage to your hand, just anything you really need at that point. This other effect is also very funny to use for me, so I've done some really funny combos with him.
Good damn, that's
Yeah, if he's in the grave, you can target 1 effect monster you control, send that monster into the grave and send him into the deck, and then special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your graveyard. Very good for getting stuff out of your grave. If you summon like a Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, which is in the grave, which you use the effect for, just have an effect monster in the field, send it into the grave, him into the deck, get that Spirit Dragon back out of your grave. Very good card all round. The last monster of the deck, Honest. It's just a good card, defensive, whenever a light monster battles, send it to the grave, get any attack with your opponent's monster. Simple as, just a very good card. That's it for the monsters. On to the spells, we have Searchers. Have 2 Melody of Awakening Dragon, 2 Dragon Shrine, 1 Foolish Burial, and Mausoleum of White. These cards are really good. A lot of Blue Eyes builds you see run 3 Melody, but I prefer to run 2 because if you are running 3 and you draw that 3rd one later in the game, it's kind of a dead draw, which I really don't like. So that's why I'm running 2, because Melody states that you can discard 1 card and then search your deck for 2 dragons with at least 3000 attack or more and 2/5 or less defense, which is fantastic because with that, just add a Blue Eyes as an alternative from deck to hand. That's an instant card summon, fantastic card. Also discard stuff to the grave, which is also really good. Get your stones, get your master, get anything you want into your grave, get your Arc Brave. Nothing else really needs to be said about that. Dragon Shrine, another good card, get your stuff in grave, like I said with Melody, just get stuff in grave, fantastic, first turns. Send a normal monster from your deck to the grave, and then if you do, send another. That works really well with Dragon Spirit of White, because he's a normal one in the grave, so you send him, then if you send something else like an Arc Brave or a White Stone, you can just summon it back next turn, just banish your opponent's stuff. Really, really good card. Foolish Burial, really only using it for the Arc Brave and Stones, maybe Master. It's come in handy quite a few times, just a good card. Mausoleum of White, I don't think I've actually seen any Blue Eyes builds that run this card. I like running it because it boosts up your dragon's attack points and it gets them in the grave. Fantastic card. Yeah, what it does is that once per turn you have a second normal summon of a level 1 light tuner, which is really, really good for going into Crystal Wing or a Mega. Makes it much easier for me to do that. And also its other effect is that once per turn, target 1 monster you control, send a normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and that monster gains attack equal to the sent monster's level times 100. So it boosts up attack, gets stuff in grave, extra normal summon, fantastic card. Next up on the list is the draw cards. You're running 3 trade-ins because the deck is basically all the dragons are level 8, so discard that level 8 monster, draw 2 cards. Simple as. Cards of Constants, there for your white stones, discard a white stone, draw 2 cards, gets them in the grave, very, very good. Nothing else needs to be said about those. Revival cards, first off is 3 Return of the Dragon Lords. These are proxies. I do not have any proper copies of it yet, but it's the last card of the deck I actually need, so I'm very close to actually probably finishing the deck. But anyway, this card is absolutely phenomenal. It's definitely one of the best revivals I've ever seen for dragon decks. What it does, target 1 level 7 or 8 dragon type monster in your grave, special summon it.
It's op.
Yeah, it's OP, and that in itself is amazing. But what makes it amazing, even more amazing, is its secondary effect. If a dragon or dragons you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect while it's in your grave, you can banish it and negate their destruction. That doesn't protect just one, that protects all the dragons you control.
Everything?
Everything. And that effect for protection is not a once per turn, so you can just keep your dragons on the field for as long as you like, so long as you've got these in the grave. And it's so damn trolly if your opponent tries to get rid of them, and you just have this. It makes it quite a bit of a problem for your opponent. For next revivals, we have 2 Silver's Cry. You are playing some normal monsters. There's a combo I like to do with Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon with this card, because this card can just target one normal dragon type monster in your grave, special summon it. And you can only use this effect once per turn. Just a good revival card, really. That's really enough to say about that. Next up, Beacon of White. Very, very good card. I've done some really funny shenanigans with this. This card is pretty good, actually. I don't see many people using it, though. This card is that if you don't control another Beacon of White, activate this card. If you have 3 or more Blue-Eyes monsters in your grave, summon one of them. Its effects are negated, and its banishment leaves the field, but it can attack as many times as you have Blue-Eyes monsters in your graveyard.
The first duel we had, you OTK'd me with 9 attacks.
Yeah, I've managed to have a Blue-Eyes that can attack 9 times just by using this card, which is absolutely amazing. However, the one downside which I don't like about this card is that other monsters you control can't attack, but that is understandable considering how many attacks you can potentially have with this card. I like this card because it can essentially win games. Next up is just last few cards. Soul Charge, absolutely amazing card. Changes games, too good. Pay 1,000 life points for every monster you can summon back from the grave. Pay 1,000 life points for each. It changes games. It's absolutely amazing.
It broke coins.
Yeah, it has. Next up, 1 Dark Hole, because combine this with Return of the Dragon Lords, it's essentially a Regeki, which is insane. And then last card deck, which is one card you never really see in Blue Eyes builds as well, Dragon's Mirror. One of my favourites in this deck. Playing 2 of them because it essentially revolves around one of the main strategies I have with this deck. This card is fusion summon 1 dragon type monster from your extra deck by banishing materials on your field or in your grave. This card is amazing. And I cannot say enough about it. This card has won me so many games. And I just love it to death. That's it for the main deck. Onto the extra deck. You're playing 2 Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons and 1 normal Ultimate Dragon. Neo Blue Eyes is an OTK god machine. I swear to God, this thing is insane.
Except it hasn't killed me yet.
Yeah. Takes 3 Blue Eyes to summon with Dragon's Mirror. You're getting all your stuff in the grave, you just use this to summon this big boy. It's insane. This card is amazing. It's won me a lot of games because of what it does. This card, if it's the only face-up card you control when it attacks, send a Blue Eyes fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, it can attack again. And you can do that twice, which with this is phenomenal. Because that's essentially an output of 13,500 damage. This thing wins games in single turns, and it is amazing. It also has a very good protection effect in the grave as well. If it's in the grave and your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Blue Eyes monster you control, you can banish this card from the grave, negate that effect, and destroy that card. And that's not once per turn, so it's very good protection, and it gets more Blue Eyes stuff in the grave. The reason why I'm playing 1 Ultimate Dragon and not 3 Neos is that if you attack 3 times with Neo, which results this being in the grave, and you have a Silver's Cry in hand, activate that Silver's Cry, you've got another Ultimate Dragon on your field. Also, as well, if it's in the grave and you've got Azure Eyes on the field, stun by phase, Azure Eyes summons a normal dragon in your grave, bring back Ultimate Dragon, 4,500 beat stick. It's just a good card. Next up, Blue Eyes Twin Burst, another amazing card. Contact Fusion between 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons, which makes it very easy to summon without using a Dragon's Mirror, which I'm very happy that it does.
Pain in the ass to get around.
Yeah, it is a pain to get around. That's why I love it. Can't be destroyed by battle, can attack twice on monsters, and any monster that it battles that isn't destroyed by that battle is banished, and that does not target, so it makes it very easy to get over stuff that can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. and that's why this card is amazing. I've done some pretty fun stuff with this card. That's all the fusions I'm running. Next up are the Synchros. 2 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragons. This card is really good against pendulums, against graveyard decks, and it can tag itself out for other stuff. Really, really good card. It's a Blue Eyes monster and 1 tuner, so any level 1 tuner in the deck and any Blue Eyes monster makes this really easy. While it's on the field, neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time, so that really puts a slowdown to pendulum decks, which is very, very handy. Gives you a good chance against them, considering they can only pendulum summon 1 monster if they're pendulum summoned if he's on the field. Also, once per turn, if your opponent activates a card or effect that activates in the grave, you can negate that for free. And then, quick effect, which is a really good one at that, you can tribute this card and special summon 1 dragon light type monster synchro from your extra deck in defense, but it's destroyed during the end phase. That effect is really good. One of the main things I do with that is to send him to the grave to get Ancient Fairy Dragon from my extra deck, and then I use that effect to get a tuner and go for a Crystal Wing Dragon. But that is the card I'll go to next. So yeah, the 2 big boss monsters of the extra deck for the Synchros are Cyphering Lord Omega and Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Crystal Wing is one of the best synchros in the game. It's phenomenal. It's 1 synchro monster and then 1 tuner, which is really easy to make in this deck.
Because Spirit's a thing.
Spirit Dragons is amazing. Crystal Wing effect. Whenever it battles a level 5 or higher monster, it gains that monster's attack, period.
And then can negate monster effects.
And then once per turn, during either player's turn, for free, you can negate a monster effect, destroy that monster, and then gain that monster's attack. It's already got a base of 3,000 attack and is absolutely phenomenal.
And there's a level 8 for Return of the
Dragon. And there's a
Dragon.
level 8 which you can bring back with Return of the Dragon Lords.
And everyone knows Cyphering Lord Omega.
Everyone knows Cyphering Lord Omega, just a good card in Lynx, because when he's on the field, uses effect to banish him from the field and a card from your opponent's hand for a turn. Just see what's in your opponent's hand. Then during the next standby phase, summon him back, which will be in the main monster zone, so your extra deck monster is freed up. It's a level 8, good for Xyz as well. And then during the standby phase, you can return one of your banished cards back into the graveyard, which is rather handy if you've used Dragon's Mirror, because you can return those banished Blue Eyes back into the graveyard and just use them again. Also, as effect, if he has been destroyed, which, if he's in the grave, you can shuffle 1 card in your grave into the deck and then return him to the extra deck. So, if he goes, don't worry, send him back and just summon him again, if you can. Just a good card. Next up, for the cards you summon off Spirit Dragon, Azure Eyes Silver Dragon and Ancient Fairy Dragon.
Makes dragons unaffected, summons things to help us.
Yeah. Azure Eyes, when it's the turn it's summoned, dragons you control cannot be targeted or destroyed by the opponent's card effects for the next 2 turns. So if you summon him off Spirit Dragon, keep him on the field, he won't be destroyed during the end phase. And then during your standby phase, special summon 1 normal dragon type monster from your graveyard, aka I like doing Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which just brings you a 4500 beater from the graveyard for free. Good protection card, 3000 defense, fun card. Ancient Fairy Dragon is the main source I do if I'm going first for a Crystal Wing or an Omega. Summon off Spirit Dragon. Also a really good thing about Ancient Fairy is that if it's on the field, you can destroy all field spells on the field, gain 1,000 life points for each card destroyed, and then search for a field spell. So that gets your Mausoleum from your deck into your hand, and then gains life points. Enough said about that. Xyz, number 68, 107. 107 negates all effects of monsters on the field, so it gets past opponent stuff. It's a Galaxy Eyes, 2 level 8s, good stuff. 68, good defensive card. Detach Xyz material, accomplish all valid card effects for the next 2 turns. And it gains 100 attack and defense for each card in the grave. Cypher Dragon, detach Xyz material, take control of one opponent's monsters. Funny with that combined with Master. Full Armor Dragon, go into one of your Galaxy Eyes monsters, rank him up to that, detach Xyz material, and you destroy a card in the field. 4,000 attack.
Banishes 3 from deck, and it can attack twice.
When it's summoned, send 3 dragons with different names from deck to grave, and then opponent banishes 3 monsters. Then you can detach Xyz material, and he can attack twice some monsters.
So
that's the deck.
That's Joey's Blue Eyes. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys try it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.